Hey everybody, welcome to the Down the Road Travel Channel. My name is Will Van Winkle. Today we're talking about Magic Kingdom. Now, personally, this is the one that I think about whenever I hear the words Disney World. In fact, because I hadn't been to Disney since I was a small child, I didn't even realize it was multiple parks until my daughter Dia went to a major cheer competition at ESPN's Wide World of Sports back in 2017 and 2018. That was also the last time that I used Park Hopper until the Christmas 2022 trip. There's a lot of stuff going on in Magic Kingdom at the moment. The 50th anniversary celebration goes on until the end of March 2023. Tron is set to open April. Splash Mountain closed on January 23rd to get that Tiana's Bayou Adventure overhaul. Meal plans are making a comeback, and of course, the train is back as well. Closed for 4 years due to the building of Tron, the 100-year-old steam train stops at Main Street USA, Frontierland, and Fantasyland. The 1.5-mile loop takes about 20 minutes to complete, and the train moves an estimated 3.7 million passengers per year. The decision to reopen at Christmas time made sense because the park was operating at full capacity, and what better way to ease overcrowding on the footpaths than to get people on a ride? We park hopped to Magic Kingdom every day of our trip and made it onto some rides twice, and we're very excited to see that train up and running. We rode Splash Mountain with most of the ride's theming already dismantled in preparation for a new theming. Close to when fireworks were planned to take place and took advantage of the extremely short line. Based on the animated characters of the 1946 Song of the South, the ride drops guests almost 53 feet. There is a 40-inch height requirement, and from my understanding, the ride will remain the same while the theming will be changed from Song of the South to Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Haunted Mansion is one of our favorites and one that we rode a couple times during our visit. Board your Doom Buggy and take a tour through different levels of the mansion, as well as the graveyard. Usually there's a Nightmare Before Christmas overlay with different gingerbread houses displayed on the table yearly. We did not get an overlay, which was a little disappointing, but the ride is still great fun. We even stopped momentarily by Madame Leota giving her seance, while some passengers were loading and unloading that needed a little bit of assistance. There is no height requirement, and the ride is pretty tame. Still, we were asked if it was scary a couple of times one time by a group of teenagers. My fiance Dana told them no. I wanted to say something else, freak them out a little bit. Sadly, I lost that battle. Of course, we did Aladdin's Magic Carpet Ride and Dumbo, and for the first time we were able to ride Astro Orbiter as well. All of these rides are basically the same, with different seating configurations. I will say Astro Orbiter is geared towards smaller people. I'm average height and weight and was pinned in pretty good with my knee smashed against the side. Just be aware of space constraints in this, or opt for one of the other two if you are either a little larger or not a fan of high places. Astro Orbiter is on top of the People Mover. Dana and Dia hit the carousel in Fantasyland without me on the first day we were there. I had a pretty massive headache at that time. Carousel's nice and nostalgic, but in my opinion, if you've done one carousel, you've done them all. It's a great filler ride, but I think very few people would be upset if you skip that one. Our first day, we ate at Columbia Harbor House. It's a quick service restaurant with fish, shrimp, chicken, and there's an upstairs seating area that many overlook. Some of those areas have a view of Haunted Mansion, and being a little lesser known area, it does get you out of the hustle and bustle of the downstairs. Space Mountain is one of our favorites, as most park goers, and it had the Christmas overlay on it. Weird sci-fi versions of Deck the Hall and Silent Night accompanied red and green flashing lights in an otherwise dark indoor roller coaster. The queue used to have games at certain intervals. Those have been inoperable since COVID. It's not clear if they'll ever be brought back. There is a 44-inch height requirement and a few drops. I've experienced the ride many times, and I still have no idea how big the drops are because I'm always worried I'll hit my head. I know there's ample space, but in the dark, the overhead beams feel very close. Every time we go to Magic Kingdom, this and Haunted Mansion are the first two rides we begin trying to book lightning lanes for. Also in Tomorrowland, People Mover and Carousel of Progress. Neither ride has a height requirement and are nice, relaxing ways to sit down for a few minutes. Carousel has AC. People Mover is moving you around Tomorrowland. This was my first year to not go on People Mover because the line was at 2 hours and there are many other rides we felt were more important to us. We did go on Carousel of Progress just to sit down for around 20 minutes. Now, it may seem like I'm kind of jumping all around Magic Kingdom. I am. Keep in mind, we had no park reservations for Magic Kingdom when we were there, and we hopped over every day. So we altered our plans. This was done over a 3-day period. So, you'll get a little bit here, a little bit back over there, and then come back to Tomorrowland and Fantasyland. But also, that's kind of how it works with lightning lanes these days to optimize them. Sometimes you're going from land to land. We, of course, hit Jungle Cruise with its Christmas overlay as Jingle Cruise. Our skipper was great. I have yet to run into a bad skipper, but some are simply better at it than others. My fiance and I had our happily ever after buttons on, and he promptly congratulated us. And while engaged in that conversation, a group came and sat across from us holding some cake, which the skipper promptly offered us as a celebratory gift. The group across from us didn't comply, though. Another no height requirement, and the puns give dad jokes a real run for their money. It was my first time experiencing the ride after dark, and it is a different experience in the daylight versus night. So be sure to try both times and keep an eye out for the amazing backside of water. We did make our way over to see some pirates after we made it out of the Amazon, one of Disney's most popular dark rides. Join the search for Captain Jack Sparrow through Dead Man's Cove while being serenaded with pirate anthem Yo Ho Yo Ho. This is fun for all, no height requirement, and a single mile drop. My understanding of Pirates of the Caribbean is that you are actually underneath Disney World for most of the ride, which is kind of cool if you think about it. One drawback is that the ride exits into one of the largest gift shops not on Main Street. So if you have a little one dreaming of being a swashbuckler, be prepared to shell out some cash or try to herd them out as quickly as possible. Back in June, we hit Country Bear Jamboree. Found it a little creepy. Now, it was an opening day attraction, and it does show a little worse for wear. We also took a ride on the riverboat, which goes along the same path as a train for a bit, so you get to see the other side of some of those scenes that you would see on the train. We also took the raft over to Tom Sawyer Island, which is kind of an open exploration area with tunnels and floating bridges. We opted to skip all of these attractions this time around, but as a testament to Disney's effort to achieve authenticity, I want to point out that there are no restrooms in Frontierland because restrooms didn't exist, and you'll also notice that the street is red with a large brownish strip through the center. Guess what that represents? Yep. Back in the Old West, they just empty their pots right onto the road, so that brown river is a river of poo. No, not him. By now, it was time for the wildest ride in the wilderness, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. We had a lightning lane for this one, but it was December 30th when Disney was starting their New Year's Eve celebrations. So the lightning lane was actually very long as well as a standby. I heard many people complaining and even saw a couple yelling at the cast members about it. One guy even declared, "I'm never spending another cent here." Now, folks, I can assure you that if that's your attitude and you're going after a cast member and yelling at them and you're telling them you'll never spend another penny there, you'll never come there again, they're probably just thinking good. And those of us who witness this are thinking, cool, shorter lines. If you go to Disney, you're going to be waiting in line from time to time. They do their best to make those lines entertaining. And if you go during the busiest time of the year, I mean, what do you expect? You have to be ready for that. Back to the ride, though. There is a 40-inch height requirement. It's set in the ghost town of Tumbleweed during the 1850s gold rush. There are a few smallish drops, it's bumpy, but it is a lot of fun. One thing I see often is when you get to a certain part of the queue, you'll notice a metal railing system in the center. Keep your party on one side of that railing if you want to stay together. Trains load from both sides of the platform, and one part of the group may get quite a bit further ahead, depending on guests with special needs or other potential things that could delay rides, like lost backpack or something like that, which, they'll stop and look real quick. But, if you're on both sides, you may not end the ride at the same time. So now let's head back over to Fantasyland and hop on one of the most iconic Disney World rides. It's the Small World. The song that gets stuck in your head for hours upon hours. Seriously, make it stop. Every room depicts children from different parts of the world. Every room has one golden sun. If you're one of those with a fear of dolls, you might want to stay away. If you know somebody who gets creeped out by dolls, you may want to drag them on this. To add to the creep out factor, the humidity makes the yarn-based hair grow, so they need haircuts from time to time. It's a classic Disney dark ride, paying tribute to differences and similarities of nations. No height requirement, air conditioned, and the line tends to move fairly quickly. While we were here, we had some time to kill, so we headed over to Pinocchio's Village House. Pinocchio's Italian. House, spelled H-A-U-S, is German. So, yeah. We stayed away in the past because we always heard the food was really bad, but we were here, had no reservations, and didn't want Harbor House again. So we decided to give it a shot. I ordered the pepperoni flatbread, Dia had margarita, and Dana was real adventurous and got chicken strips. I have to say it was much better than expected. It's not by any means award-winning pizza, but it's still really good, and there were plenty of seats. Some even have a view of Small World. Close by is Barnstormer, as is Dumbo. Both we skipped this time around. The Barnstormer is a junior roller coaster with about a 35-inch height requirement. Great to get the smaller adventure seekers a chance to get on the roller coasters as well. But if you've ever looked around the grounds that the ride stands on, you'll notice a lot of ears and other souvenirs. Just because it's a junior roller coaster doesn't mean you won't lose things. It's a lot of fun, and frankly, Goofy is one of my personal heroes. So that makes this a ride worth going on even as an adult. We missed Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. It's one of those premium rides that you have to pay for, Lightning Lane, and I never really thought it was worth the 3-hour wait it can sometimes get up to. It's fun, but I felt the time and money is better spent elsewhere with so much to do at Magic Kingdom. We hit the Enchanted Tiki Room, which Dana is obsessed with. This time I watched the audience rather than the show, and small kids were enthralled. Teens seemed bored, and adults just seemed really happy to sit down. We went to see the PhilharMagic, which has recently added music from Coco to keep things fresh. And of course, we soared over London on Peter Pan's Flight, another ride geared towards the smaller guests. In preparation for New Year's Eve, Magic Kingdom had dance parties in Frontierland near Adventureland and Tomorrowland near Space Mountain. And even cast members were getting into it. The lights were amazing, the overall mood was incredible, minus a few minor incidents. Was it crowded? Yes. But if you go to Disney World expecting no crowds, well, I guess they'll never get any more of your money either. Even at capacity with lightning lanes, early park entry for resort guests, and park hoppers, we did everything we wanted at every park and more. Even a little much to go through here. I don't pretend that this is a Disney Channel. There's a ton of information on the parks already, and this is just my experience that I'm sharing in case you're looking for a non-professional Disney goer's thoughts. I really do hope this helps you with your trip, and if you enjoy the original music playing in the background, be sure to find it here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you stream music. If I missed anything, please let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We have many more trips coming up in 2023, and I'll even take a look back at a couple of past trips just for fun. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you down the road.
I won't be coming home. Let's hit the road. Save my soul.